I'm Frits de Groot. I'm a guitarist and a singer and a songwriter, and I lead worship at Choose Life Church.
Earth and heaven bow before him. Kings and kingdoms shout his glory.
Well, King of Heaven is really all about the fact that there is a king, first of all, and that he is the King of Heaven, but not only of heaven, but that he rules over earth as well. And I guess it comes from Ephesians, chapter 1, where it says that Jesus was raised from the dead, and that we in him, and that he was raised above principalities, powers, rulers, authorities, dominion, and that he's seated at the right hand of the Father and waiting now for his enemies to be made his footstool. And not only that, but he's given the authority to the church, and we are his body, so we actually are to exercise that authority, to declare it and to proclaim it on the earth. So it was really just to remind ourselves of, hey, there is a king, and that everything actually is being brought under subjection to him. Basically, whenever you get into like a songwriting mode, it's sort of like a storm, So I was writing a lot of songs. I actually waited quite a while before the Lord gave me kind of like an incentive. He said to me, okay, it's time to start writing. And I waited about 3 years. I didn't do anything. And when that happened, what happens with me is I start kind of dreaming songs, So quite a few of the songs would come out of dreams, or I'd wake up and have the tunes in my head. I think the main thrust of the songs that I was writing was to get back to the basics, that it's Christ and Christ crucified, Jesus and him crucified, the cross. And then not only the cross, because the cross obviously is an instrument of execution, which is, but that yes, it was an instrument of execution, but the thing that was executed was our sin, was death, was all the darkness. That's what was put to death, and then Jesus was raised from the dead. And so what was happening in that sense was like just to get back to who is Jesus, and just to worshiping him, and to kind of the basics of the gospel, I guess. So my hopes for this song is that it would actually, as people are singing it, put them into that headspace, that we actually serve a risen Savior, and that he's risen and he's reigning from heaven, and that his will is actually being implemented in the earth over the nations.